Thursday Main Slate. It's a 5-gamer. It's a small one. It means we're going to have to get a little bit creative. Maybe not as creative as the morning slate, but still creative nonetheless. I am having trouble with projections all of this. Oh, no, they're there. Now they're working. Okay, never mind. I just misclicked something. But Sheets, any overall thoughts before we jump into game by game?
First of all, I have a question about last night's slate. Was the Dodger game even considered a threat as far as weather?
It got to be more of a threat like right before the game.
Okay.
And I was talking in the Discord and I said that I feel completely unsafe about it, but I'm rolling with it anyway. Okay. I got off to a flying start and then the game got
I was very lucky then because I didn't play that and I had the Reds later, and I think it's safe to say, consider very few teams scored that much, that if that game continued onwards, I mean,
yeah,
that had some serious possibilities.
They definitely might have. Yeah, they had a lot of potential there.
But it had to be paired with Judge, otherwise.
Oh yeah, the Judge thing was just that was tough. All right, well, let's pull up your screen and we'll go game by game here.
Sure.
I am
just a couple of announcements for everybody. So, I did my MMA DFS breakdown. I'm going to do the betting breakdown at some point between now and tomorrow. I'm just not exactly sure when. They're just kind of late on getting the props out. And then, as you know, but as some people might not, I'm going to be, we're both going to be out for like the weekend pretty much. I'm going to do my best as usual to get projections up, but no promises. I know that we're both probably out as far as, visual content for the next couple of days. But listen, I'll do the best that I can with my laptop and whatever it is, but just a little heads up.
That's the same for me. But we'll do our best, and I do think that Goldie will do live tomorrow. So
great,
we will be covered. All right. With that said, let's jump into it. What do you got first? Toronto.
I have Toronto, Baltimore first.
All right. Why don't you start off this one?
First of all, I did take a quick look at the weather. The raw thing, and while nothing seems like orange red, there's issues. We got to be on top of everything a little bit. First of all, overall, I think the pitching on this slate is poor as far as projections go, but there's like some name value. You know what I mean? They're the guys that you can play. It's not like this morning slate where it's like,
right,
my third highest known pitcher is Peter Lambert. It's like it's not exactly the same thing. But I'm not exactly getting to either of these guys, the Berrios or the Gibson. The other thing is I'm not exactly getting to any of the hitting either. I kind of narrowed it down to 4 teams that I was going to play hitting-wise. And as far as pitching goes, I have kind of a top 2, maybe a top 3, and actually maybe a top 4. And nothing from this game is making it for me.
Yeah, I think that I'm pretty much on the same page. I don't mind the idea of like a little bit of Berrios, so I've got him as a consideration. I think that you could make a good case for Toronto here against Gibson. He historically his power splits have been a little bit reverse splits. You have a bunch of righties in the lineup, and I just think that even though they've kind of been disappointing this year from a fantasy perspective, I do like the idea of maybe getting to some Toronto. So I'm gonna have to see where they land for me. But as of right now, I think I would have some interest in them. All right, why don't you start off the other one, because I'm trying to figure something out about Kyle Gibson really quick.
All right, so Cubs against the Pirates. This is one of the teams that I'm interested in as far as hitting goes, and that would be the Cubs. Additionally, I have Steele as, again, it would seem like a guy I would want to play as far as like name value. He's like a good pitcher or whatever, but for whatever reason, projections are not putting him in my top group. So I have to take another look at it. So for now, it's just kind of just Cubs or nothing for me in this game.
Yeah, this is a game with maybe some weather concerns. It is like a hot day, and I'm with you on the having the Cubs highly rated. The only issue is going to be the ownership. I think they're going to have a decent amount. And I like Steele. I have no problem with the price or anything on Steele. I don't know. It's funny because I was looking up. I do this when I sort of have like a little, there wasn't as many games. The Dodger game was getting canceled, so I was like just sort of like watching some stuff on TV, and then before I had some phone calls come up, I was like just scrolling through my phone to some of the league leaders, and it's just kind of crazy that Justin Steele is second in the league in ERA. Guess who's first, by the way, in the league?
Abbott?
No, it's Blake Snell.
Jesus.
We're talking about how inconsistent he is. He leads the league in ERA. But he's a great strikeout pitcher. I like him. I like him a lot actually in this matchup. He's probably my most desired pitcher.
Okay.
Right as of right now. All right, Texas, Minnesota. I can jump in on this one really quick. I really do like the idea. Like I'm gonna play some Heaney and I'm gonna play some Minnesota. That's pretty much where I'm at in this game. I don't think it's anything revolutionary, and I will probably not be on Pablo Lopez because
why don't you want to be on Lopez? It's the matchup.
It's a tough matchup. I do think that occasionally we've seen some upside games against Texas. I love Lopez as a pitcher. I think I would rather play, given the matchup, Justin Steele over Lopez personally. But I have no problem if anybody wants to. It's also 85 degrees with wind blowing out to right field in Minnesota. So both of these offenses, we get a little bit of a boost. So I'm just a little bit lower on Lopez. I mean, look, he's fine, but he's probably not gonna make it for me in my main lineups as of right now.
I think Heaney is probably going to make it in my main lineup. I will say that, I mean, again, I can't confirm this, but it's really funny when you listen. Sometimes I listen to I'm usually pretty good with my multitasking where I can focus on what I need to focus on. But every once in a while, I have like two things going at once, and I just remember I was listening to something before Haney's last start, but I had something else going on in my other ear or something. So I forgot really if this was accurate, but something that his strikeout rate is actually down this year, as opposed to what it has been. I don't know if that's accurate or whatever. Nonetheless, I mean, he still does flash that occasional, big number still that you're going to want at this price on a short slate. So I'm probably going to end up playing him. And I'm not getting to the hitting, but as we say all the time, like Haney's always a guy you're supposed to play and you're supposed to play against. So I have certainly no issues with that. Yeah,
and his strikeout rate is still, above 1 an inning. It's just not quite as good as it's been in the past. But he's just the problem is he's a highly volatile pitcher because of these small slates who's going to have, pretty decent ownership. And that's just something that I think that if you're playing multiple lineups, you should have exposure to both sides of that. And where I'm not playing Heaney, I'm definitely going to get some exposure to Minnesota, not to mention they're extremely cheap. Maybe, I mean, look, if you want to play, Steele and Lopez, that's where you can play Minnesota as a stack really easily. So I think getting some Heaney and getting some opposing bats are a good idea. All right, moving on. What is the White Sox and Oakland, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a stupid game, but it's a stupid game because on any other slate I probably wouldn't even worry about it. But like on this slate, that like literally like 3 or 4 of these prongs like make sense to me. Like I currently have the White Sox and Oakland as 2 of my top 4 stacks, and those 2 teams are just pretty bad, right? And then I'm also getting this just because he's 5K. Like I'm getting the Schultens character, at 5K, and it's not like he doesn't pitch innings sometimes. I mean, he's got 6 innings, 6 innings here, 6 innings, 3, and in this slate, it's kind of hard for me to ignore. So I actually have him is going to be in probably my main lineup right now. Like,
wow.
God forbid, right? Yeah, it's stupid, right? But
no, it's not. It makes sense. I get it.
For me, I don't know whether it's going to be him with another cheat, him and Heaney, or him with Kelly, or him with Lopez, or him with Steele, whatever. I just think that's what I end up doing. But I do like both sides. But then yet on the other side, I do like Oakland, and I do like the White Sox also. So it's a game that again on a big slate I wouldn't give a second thought probably, but I think on the short slate I'm probably going to get pretty much all of this. I mean, I don't know which way to do it, but I have to consider all prongs of this one.
Yeah, so the way I would do it, because it's a small slate, the way that I'm going to do it is I actually have Waldichuk a little bit ahead of Schultens because of the.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
So why not play him? You know what I mean? At slightly lower ownership. Now they are pretty decent against lefties, and it is 93 degrees with winds blowing out to left field, so it's not ideal. But I think the White Sox are a really good stack. I just think they're going to be the much more popular side, so I will try to get in probably a little bit more Oakland. But yeah, there's a lot of hitting options tonight for a small slate. All right, start us off, Sheets.
Yeah, so here's the deal. Okay, so Merrill Kelly, I have Merrill Kelly projected 49% ownership right now.
Yep.
And I will say this, like we talk about getting like the bad Blake Snell and the bad whatever. I mean, again, this is like really primitive, but you look at Merrill Kelly and sure, you know, he puts up some good games, right? Yeah. And sure, he puts up some lousy ones. And at 49%, as you saw yesterday, I got no problem taking Reds against the chalk pitcher on the slate. And I got no problem doing it again. Why not? You know, well, who's to say that Joey Votto doesn't get a home run off of this dude? Who's to say that? Well, any of these guys don't get after him. I mean, listen, he's better, but it's a short slate, and he's 50% owned. I mean, I have no problem taking the shot at the Reds here. So I'm probably, I mean, if the slate locked it like now, maybe something's like Schultens, and then how about Schultens, Heaney, and overpay for these dumb Reds? You know what I mean? Like
that's definitely different enough.
Yeah. So that's something I can do, but I don't want to play Kelly as the top owned guy. I just don't want to.
I don't especially want to either. I like, again, it just depends on how many lineups I end up playing, but I really mostly would like to not take that side. I don't know that I'm going to play the Reds, but I certainly don't mind, like, you know, taking a one-off of, well, depending on who's in the lineup, but even like De La Cruz at a crazy high price, I have no problem doing that, or maybe a mini stack. But mostly this game is going to be about the Diamondbacks bats for me. Again,
that too. I forgot about that. Sorry about that.
No problem. There's just too many. There's a lot of stacks to like tonight. I mean, I've got Toronto, the Cubs, Minnesota, Chicago, White Sox, Oakland, and the Diamondbacks all as extremely viable, where I probably would consider them even on full slates. And I think that, you know, Minnesota in your non-Heaney lineups. I think that my favorite would probably be the Cubs, and followed by the White Sox, followed by Oakland. But because of ownership, I may end up playing Toronto. And then the D-backs are just after those guys for me.
Yeah, for me, what I'll probably end up doing, I mean, like this is definitely the fun thing to do. I'll just play Schultens and Heaney, and then game stack the Arizona Reds game.
There you go. You literally plug chalk into the other three spots. You don't need to worry about anybody else doing anything.
You know what I mean? And then just there you go. Schultens, Heaney, and then game stack the Reds, then Arizona, and then
there you go. I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But we'll be
who's going to be the most popular stacked? It looks like the Oakland and the White Sox is what I'm getting. I mean,
yeah, I think that might be the case. In which case, I would switch over to. I mean, I think that your pivots are, well, I like the Cubs, I like the D-backs, and Toronto.
But maybe instead of Schultens, Heaney, maybe I play Schultens or Heaney or whatever. Maybe I do go for the steal. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I like the steal. My favorite pitching combination right now is steal Heaney or steal with one of these, whether it be Schultens, Waldichuk, one of those cheapos. And I'm not opposed to Barrios either. But I do think that the one core guy that I know I'm going to play is probably going to be Steele tonight.
You like that?
I just like Steele. I think he's a really good pitcher who doesn't, for whatever reason, people get scared of playing him. I don't really know why. He's been basically awesome the whole year, and even when he has down games, he still usually puts up a good enough score because he's got a good K rate. It's a good matchup. Yeah, I'm a little bit higher on Steele, and it's just because the matchup for Lopez is the real reason, and because Merrill Kelly has that big a chalk, I don't really want to eat it. So,
all right. So this is what we're going to do. Since we didn't do it for the early slate, let's do a Saberson build, and we're doing it fresh. I haven't done one yet, so I'm going to get more practice with the new system here. So the first thing I have to do is I got to find the slate, which is something I'm not used to. Okay, so main slate here. Okay. So now we have to upload the projections as we have them, same as usual. And try not to I can't even imagine what we're gonna get. Now again, I got to create new. I don't know why I have to keep. Actually, I don't have to do that, but save it anyway. Let's build 50 lineups. We will do a min salary of just 40. It's short enough, so we'll go 49,000. We're gonna go min uniques. We're not gonna worry about that yet. We'll go 50 lineups just as usual. And let's just see what we get. Boy, oh boy, I can't even imagine. I'm gonna say. I really don't know. I really don't know. Kelly, Heaney, and Arizona. That's what I'm saying. Nope. Oakland and White Sox all over the place. Okay. So, boy, oh boy, what has happened to Tim Anderson? He's 3,100. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's not been his year.
So let's just see what we have. So first of all, as far as stack exposure would go, we're going to screw around a little bit, but very few 5-man stacks, if at all. That's one thing.
Oh, that's what SaberSim's giving you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Almost as far as team stacks, they're giving you 100% Oakland and 98% White Sox. But that's not doing the sims. That's just doing just projections, right? So, and it's giving you mostly and 100%. 100% Kelly, and also 100% Tim Anderson. So we're gonna mess around a little bit. So let's do a contest simulation where we add the contest sim. We'll do the main GPP, and we're going to run the contest simulation and see what it does. This is pretty. I mean, SaberSim's pretty greedy. They're like, okay, just Oakland and White Sox and just Merrill Kelly, and you don't get to play anything else.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, let's. Again, sometimes SaberSim just kind of wakes up in a bad mood. All right, so now when we do it this way, let's see if anything changes. What I want to do, again, after you do the contest sim, one thing that you note is you want to rank these not by projected score, but you want to rank them by ROI, and that changes things, I think, a little bit. Well, we'll see. So now we have team stacks. Nope, it doesn't change it at all.
Nothing, huh?
So Oakland and the White Sox for the win. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. But
it feels weird. But it feels weird because they're going to be so popular too.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't have them projected as that high ownership. I don't know. We'll see. So that's what I'm getting right now, and we'll just see. We'll see what happens closer to lock. So I will be there for live at 6. Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, good. So we will see you at 6. Complaining about what happened in the early slate, and we'll see you then.
All right. Good luck, everybody.